Good day. It is the 23rd of October 2022, and I just got back yesterday from Grodno, depending on what language you want to say that in, Belarusian or Russian or English. Anyway, Grodno or Grodna, and that was very nice. A lot of nice architecture there. That's heavily influenced by German culture, Lithuanian culture, Polish culture, Belarusian culture, Russian culture. As a matter of fact, there's even Italian and French. See a lot of buildings there with French roofs, and the place I stayed was very much like Italy. The balconies, that hang out over the streets are like something you might see in Italy somewhere. But anyway, it was very nice. But now I'm back in Baranovici, which is also a very nice place. And before I get to talking a little bit more, I'd just like to say that for anybody watching this, I might be making a few less videos because I found an opportunity. I mentioned this in another video. I have an opportunity to go and take a Russian language class at the university, the state, what was it called? Baranovici State University. And since I'm a resident here, I got in very quickly. It's like it only took one day, registration. So, and it's actually a lot cheaper than taking some private classes in Minsk. I think, what was that? I think it was like $100 US a month for the course. So, and it's a 3-month course. And I don't know, was there any fees besides that? But if you're going to be staying in a dormitory, they have dormitories there on the campus. I'll try to do a film of the campus as well. But then, of course, it costs more, and food is normally very cheap because this is a state institution. And I've been to a few of these places run by the state, and of course they have a cafeteria most of the time, and the food is very cheap. So hopefully you'll be finding out more about that and as time goes by when I'm going to that school for 3 months or so. But what I want to talk about today is something I mentioned before, and I've been hearing a lot more about it. It was like this coronavirus. They're coming up with new coronaviruses. They're creating them. Boston University created a coronavirus. They crossed Omicron with the original strain of COVID in their hopes to make a much more contagious, strong version, more deadly version of COVID. And apparently Anthony Fauci is again involved in this one, and believe it or not, so is Bill Gates. So, and you thought there was a law passed during the time of Obama, which is one of the things apparently that Obama did good, one of the very few, that made it against the law to be doing gain of function research in the United States. But yet apparently, and I don't know, this is kind of strange, but it's that I guess Fauci or somebody was able to get some sort of I don't know if you call it an injunction or something to allow this stuff during the Trump era. So they started in again doing gain of function research, during the Trump time. And of course they zeroed in on coronaviruses. And the weird thing is, even a year before they had the Omicron variant, they crossed the Omicron variant with the original variant. And it's like, well, they didn't even have Omicron then. I mean, you can find this stuff out probably if you look a little harder. I saw this on Redacted with Clayton and Natalie Morris. So you can find it on some of their tapes. They broadcast from Portugal, so I'm amazed that they can put some of this stuff on YouTube. But anyway, that's the main thing that I've been hearing about with the coronavirus. And they're trying to show evidence on that as well. And Clayton Morris, I believe he used to work for Fox News, so he's a very good reporter as well. And I believe Natalie did some sort of things like that too in journalism. But anyway, the bigger story is what's going on with Ukraine, of course, as usual. And I don't even know where to start on that because there's just too much information. It all points in the same direction. It seems just more and more possible that the US, NATO, Ukraine, and the UK are all gearing towards setting off a... This sounds kind of crazy, but there's nothing that's crazy anymore in this world. But that they're heading to the direction of setting off a dirty bomb, a dirty nuclear bomb in the Ukraine to blame on Russia. And I had mentioned this before because I heard some sort of a suggestion from somebody, I believe, and it suggested that as well. But now that it's getting to be more and more probable. And the evidence that I'm going by is first Zelensky himself coming up and saying that Russia wants to set off a nuclear bomb. Russia keeps saying we have no intention, no desire, and no need to set off any kind of a nuclear bomb in Ukraine or anywhere. And you know, then they reiterate that the only country, which is true, that has ever used nuclear weapons is the United States. And of course, they did it on a civilian population. They didn't do it for any military reasons. It seems like they were trying to experiment and see how many people they could wipe out, you know, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because it wasn't aimed for anything to do militarily. Japan was already surrendering, and they just wanted to probably set off this bomb and see how it all worked out. But anyway, that's old history there. But you might have heard also, I don't know if this is true because I heard it from a few places, and one of the sources at least was very reliable. It was I. Earl Grey, who broadcast from St. Petersburg. He's a former British military person. He's also on YouTube. But the 101st Airborne apparently is sending a huge detachment to Romania. And of course it always goes under the auspices of training exercise or whatnot. Oh, here's some kids. They're a little bit loud. So that's just one reason why, getting them ready. And of course, along with that, all of these NATO troops and weaponry getting amassed on the border with Belarus to the west of Belarus. And in response to that, Russia sent, you know, just 9,000 troops to shore up the military of Belarus somewhat, which is also not very big, but you know, NATO has a lot more potential, of course, and they're sending a lot more tanks and other weaponry to the border. So that sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, I'm getting mobbed by kids here, so just 2 or 3. They're all fascinated when they hear a different language that they don't understand. So, but that's not all. It's not just the amassing of the troops, the U.S. troops on the border down there by Romania. It's and the NATO troops on the western border of Belarus. And of course, for that, Russia's the demons. But you know, and then Zelensky hinting at Russia using a nuclear bomb, and that the West has to use a nuclear bomb on Russia before Russia can get one out against Ukraine, even though Russia has no intention and no desire to do that. And it's not because there was a bomb, like, I don't know how many years ago, that disappeared from the U.S. arsenal, nuclear bomb, but also that David Petraeus, who used to be the director of the CIA, and it was a former 4-star general, General David Petraeus, he's coming out and saying, and I think I wrote down right here, what is word he says, he said that the USA can become directly involved in Ukraine because Russia could take action, and his words were so shocking and so horrific that it would prompt a response. And Petraeus also said it would take a multinational, he didn't say it could take, he said it would take a multinational force led by the USA and not by NATO, and saying, of course, it would be also NATO countries involved, but not led by NATO, but then it would invoke if Russia responds to an attack on Russia, that it could invoke Article 5, which means that if Russia attacks some of these NATO countries that attack Russia, then all of NATO has to join in and attack Russia. So I guess that's part of this agreement that you're obligated to take in. I don't know what happens if, say, Italy or Hungary or some other, or maybe Greece or even Turkey decide, hey, no, we don't want to go to war against Russia. So I don't know what happens when they decide they don't want to. I don't know. Is there some big penalty or whatever about that? Yeah. So anyway, that's the main news, and that's mostly what was wanting to say. There's a lot of other things, of course, going on, and I could add to this a little bit later, maybe, but I'm not. I just came to this. It looks like it's here on the school grounds, and behind me it's a mural, and this is the gate at the Fortress of Brest. It's a what do you call it, graffiti or whatever type of drawing, and that was where the German Nazis, under the command of General Guderian, who was the so-called creator of the Blitzkrieg, he attacked the Soviet Union on June 22nd, 1941. So that was the gate, and this one here doesn't have all the holes in it from the weapons and bombs that they were throwing at it. So, but that's a very significant place. I was there, but the video work didn't come out so great, unfortunately. So I couldn't use that. I had a video and I took it down. It was kind of sloppy. So, and there's some other artwork here by, I doubt it was some kids doing it. Oh, and you see this one. I believe that this one here, done as a shadow, is probably at the time when Russia, with the help of some of the other countries like the United States and France and Great Britain, defeated Nazi Germany. And of course there's a lot of prominent Americans, historians and otherwise, that say that it was actually Russia that defeated the Nazi Germany, which has a lot of truth in it. And as you know, Russia, they lost between 20, or not Russia, get this all mixed up. The Soviet Union, mainly meaning Russia, lost between 20 and 30 million people in that conflict. But that's about all I have for right now. And I had to have a political video because I'm noticing talking about politics, economics, and world events is actually a lot more popular than travel videos. So, but I'll still do travel videos whenever I can do that. But I'll be going to school learning Russian. It was supposed to start on Monday, and there was, I guess there's 38 other students, and they're all Chinese. I'm the only one that's not Chinese, from what they told me. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. And a lot of them are sick. Corona, no. I'm sure some of them will show up in masks and all that, but you know how Chinese are. Maybe if they do that to be polite to other people, thinking that other people, I don't know. I'm not into masks, and I think it's a waste of time, and it doesn't do any good anyway. I mean, as science has proven. But anyway. But they're sick, so this class is not going to start until Wednesday instead of tomorrow. So I have 2 days. But that's all I have for right now, and till the next time. Stay safe.